Welcome to K. Elizabeth Toasts, a podcast celebrating people who increase our quality of life. I'm your host, K. Elizabeth. Each episode is a heartfelt interview of a remarkable person making lives better through one of the 5 social determinants of health. The World Health Organization says these social determinants can impact up to 55% of our health outcomes. That's more than our lifestyle choices and medical care combined. In this episode, we are focusing on the social determinant of neighborhood and built environment. Give a listen if you are in need of a dopamine hit, or if you like toast, because this toasts for you.
My name is Susie Marty, and I am the owner and curator of the Everett and Charlie Art Gallery. 10 years ago, I went through cancer, and it was a life-changing moment for me. And when I was able to go back to work after about 1.5 to 2 years of, surgeries and treatments and healing, I made up my mind that I was going to find a job and not call it a job, but call it a joy, and do something that really filled my soul. And if I was lucky enough, it would, reflect out and bring joy to others. And I think I've created it. I really do. I wanted to create a space that would be kind of like, I think about back in the days in 1800s in Paris when they had grand salons where artists would come and poets and musicians and be a gathering space and a place for artists to sell their work. So I literally stumbled across this physical space 6 years ago and was walking by to go to dinner. I believe it was either at Tilly or Harriet Brasserie in the neighborhood here. And there was a little for rent sign on the window. And I looked in, it was late February, and I thought, why is that space in Linden Hills empty? Because, this neighborhood to me has always been just this Fabergé egg. It's just a jewel within the city of Minneapolis. And so I called the number and looked at it the next morning, and I knew immediately that this was going to be my art gallery. It has high ceilings, track lighting, wood floor, and I just thought, I'm just going to take the leap and do this. And in the moment, I thought, well, this will be a bit of a challenge. The funding, it's never easy to do a startup business, let alone an art gallery. And my model was to do everything on a consignment basis and only carry Minnesota artists. And I'd been in the art community for a number of years, so I had a lot of friends that were artists. So I called a bunch of them up, and I told myself if I could get about a dozen artists that would be willing to show and sell their work here, I would put, the business plan together and get some funding and get creative and just do this. And I had more than 25 artists within a week that said, oh my gosh, we will do this.
Wow.
So that told me a couple of things. Number one, there aren't enough galleries in Minnesota or in the Twin Cities that do this. I've always been a fan of like Grand Hand in St. Paul and Gallery 360 right down the road. And of course, all of the studios and galleries up in Northeast. But I felt this was a community that could support it on multiple levels. So I opened the doors and I named it Everett and Charlie, which was after my grandsons.
Oh,
I know. I love that response. I get asked all the time, what? Are you Charlie? Are you Everett? Or where'd the name come? And I said, oh, those are my grandsons. And everybody goes, aw.
that's so sweet. It really is.
It is. Yeah, it's kind of an odd name for an art, I suppose. But yeah, there's love behind it.
Oh, absolutely. So how do you get to interface? How do you get to interact with your neighbors?
Oh, gosh. Well, I am about 98% of the staff here. I pretty much do it all. And that's kind of the good news, bad news, I guess, for me. I have gotten to know everybody around here. The people that live right across the street and people that are, in the radius from Edina and all over. And I literally have regulars who may not be able to afford a piece in here, or they don't need one. Their walls are full. but they come in just to soak it up and feel good. They literally have told me this is their happy place, and sometimes I'm behind my desk, doing work on the computer or whatever I need to do. And they'll walk in and they'll say, I just need to walk around for a while. I said, absolutely. I will be quiet. You just soak it all in and have a great day, you know? And now I'm blessed that this has become a destination. So I have clients and customers from all over that come. So that's really, really remarkable too.
From all over.
Yeah, I do. And even out of state, people that come here to visit their families and friends during the summer seasons or for holidays, they make it a point to pop in here. So it's sometimes they forget where they're from and I go, gosh, I haven't seen you in a while. And they said, oh, well, we live in Florida. Like, oh, yeah. God, I wish I had the words for it. I really do. But it's more of a feeling. You have to just come in and stand in the space and it's good.
Could you talk with me about the music days that you have?
Sure. Oh my gosh, that's just another fantastic thing that we've got going here for the community. I used to have live music in the gallery when I'd have events in here. But then along came COVID and we had to shut down for months. And when we were able to reopen, as we all remember, we were limited to how many people could come into your retail establishments. And so I couldn't have music in here and have, more people. And my musician friends were saying, gosh, we're not getting gigs because nobody can have us in their bars or their restaurants or, wherever music's being played. And we just want to play. So a friend of mine at the time, Elgin Foster, he's a guitarist that I've known for years and hired him for many things. He and I were talking and we were chatting with some other musicians and they said, we just want to play. Can we play outside on the sidewalk? And I said, I think it's a fabulous idea. But in all honesty, with my business being closed for so many months, I don't have the budget any longer to pay you what you deserve to be paid for your gig. And they said, we don't care. We love you. We want to support the gallery. We will busk for tips on the sidewalk. And then, all right, let's do it. So to this day, every musician that plays every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evening, or on Sundays during brunch time, they are playing for tips on the sidewalk. And some nights, are great, and they probably make way more than what I had paid them. Some nights it's a stretch. But my friends and neighbors who own Harriet Brasserie, Kalinka and Fernando, they graciously give a free meal to the musician who's playing that night. So, they walk away with a good meal and they've met some great people. And I also know there's a lot of musicians who have picked up other paying gigs by playing on the sidewalk here. So it's kind of a pay it forward kind of situation as well. So they have come back over time and said, oh my gosh, because of playing on the sidewalk for you, I've been playing these weddings down in Red Wing, or I'm playing out at this vineyard, or, it has just kind of been that ripple effect. So that makes my heart sing as well. And I'd love to hear that. Yeah. And we're getting more and more musicians contacting us saying, can we play? Can we play?
Wow. You just made it sound really simple, if I'm honest.
Well,
is it that simple?
Everything's simple and not intimidating and unassuming. I mean, that's the way the whole gallery is. I have, when I opened, I laugh. I used to have people, I keep the door open. I used to have people come up in the doorway and they'd kind of peek in a little bit and kind of checking it out. And then I'd hear them kind of whisper like, oh, it's a gallery. And I would just say, get in here. There's nothing intimidating about this gallery. It's comfortable. Energy's great. People love coming in, just soaking up all the good jujus. And yeah, it's good. And it's the same with the music outside. The neighbors come and sit on the benches and, it's really become a community thing.
When I think about a community, when I think about a neighborhood, I think about houses. I don't necessarily think about businesses. I think about neighbors being next to each other, but it really is businesses that support. You just named like a whole bunch of businesses: Settergren's hardware store, um, Harriet Brasserie, which is a restaurant, toy stores. There's a bookstore right down the street, a children's bookstore, I might add. All of these amazing businesses that I think really makes it feel so charming. It seems like there has to be a way that you build that. Like, that doesn't seem like it just would happen naturally just by being in existence. Like, businesses aren't charming by nature. I'll say that.
True. That is true. I will agree with you. Gosh, here's the part where it's hard for me to talk about this because it's not about me. This is the true definition of it takes a village. And I will tell you, during COVID, and during the George Floyd unrest, we boarded up for that, and now we're all tore up. It takes a village to keep things going. And I happen to have one of the best landlords around. She believes in me. She believes in the gallery. She believes in art. And so do so many other people around here. They show up and help when help is needed. I've got a couple of people who have volunteered to work here, volunteer to help me out, and said, don't you ever need like a Friday afternoon off? I'll come and help and hang out at the gallery, that kind of thing. So those are just lovely little gifts that I get to receive from having my business here. And, it's not one-sided. We all help each other out here.
Yeah. That's beautiful that people want to volunteer to support. I'm curious, are there other things that you've received from being in the neighborhood?
Well, yeah, I'm going to tell you just most recently. I don't know if you know this, but last Thursday, June 6th, it's the 6-year anniversary or birthday of the gallery. And every year I do a big party, and we usually have it in the back space here. There's a back courtyard kind of thing. We have live music and food and different things. And this year, it's been a little challenging again. I'm not gonna lie, with the way the streets tore up. All the businesses are suffering right now. We're all down 30-40%. And when you get behind that much, it's hard to catch up. It really is. And so this year when I was planning the party, a friend of mine happens to be a retired event planner. And she looked me in the eye and she says, this year your party's going to be a fundraiser. You need to stay open and you need to keep this going. So I let her help me plan all of this. And last Thursday night, we had this gala fundraiser. And I'm not kidding you, probably 150, 200 people showed up. And it was just fantastic. We had a silent auction. There was an entrance fee. People just came out, and I probably had maybe 8 to 10 people that volunteered to help for the evening. We had live music. It was amazing. And people they just love this place. The other big that I do is I actually started an art fair 3 years ago. So I used to do just little pop-ups on the weekend on the sidewalk here, and it just kind of kept growing. And then I met a woman named Kelly Wagner. She owns the Edge magazine, and she and I just immediately connected and thought, how can we collaborate? What can we do together? We decided that we would start this art fair called Art on the Edge. So it's a blend of visual artists and metaphysical vendors. So 2 years ago, we shut down the street right outside the gallery here, West 43rd Street, and started the art fair. And we've kind of outgrown it a little bit. We're moving it down a couple of blocks, so it'll be surrounding the park.
Creating an art fair seems like a daunting task, like a really big undertaking.
And it's coming up August 10th, and I'm sitting here going, oh, I got to call the city and make sure my permits are in order and order the porta potties and get the barricades. Yeah, there's so much involved. It's a little cuckoo. And I laugh going, oh my gosh, I can't believe we do this. But, it's been well received again in the community.
I'm wondering if there is anyone in your life who's improved your quality of life that you want to give a toast to or recognize.
You know what? I'm going to go with Everett and Charlie today, my grandsons. They bring such joy, and they're the next generation of artists, and I love watching them. They were here a couple weeks ago, and we set up a little table outside on the sidewalk, and the boys brought their paintings. And it was just the biggest treat. They'd flip them over and mark like $2.99 on them, $5.99. And Everett in particular is an amazing artist. He's going to be 9 next week, and he draws nonstop. He just doesn't stop. So I would like to toast, all the up and coming artists. Don't stop, and do it for yourself.
Well, cheers to the up-and-coming artists, including Everett and Charlie.
Thank you.
Susie, for creating a space where people want to come, who need their souls filled, for creating a space that people can say has good vibes, for taking that space and spilling it out your doors into the street, for artists, for musicians, for all of your neighbors, for organizing, for the sacrifices of physically being in the gallery all the time, having you there. You're literally creating an environment where it's safer, it's people are seen, people are less lonely because they're able to be there. But I think mostly for spilling your art, spilling others' art out into the world, outside of your 4 walls, into the outdoors as gifts to other people. For that, this toast is for you.
Thank you. And thank you to every single artist that trusts me with their work in here. It's truly a gift.
Mm-hmm.
It is something I will never regret doing. The people I have met in the last 6 years having this place is just, it really brings me to tears. It really does.
Now it's time for your toast. This community toast is for Peter, my neighbor who recently passed. Peter was a retired family court judge and lifelong jokester with a quirky sense of humor. One time he put a golf flag on our grass as he thought our lawn looked like a putting green. Another time he cut adorable bunnies from paper and placed them on our glass door as a delightful prank to wake up to. Peter, this toast is for you. Thanks for listening to Season 2. Assuming all goes well, Season 3 will launch October the 14th. We'll have more remarkable people who are increasing others' quality of life through things like cycling, assistance dogs in training, a neighborhood creative enterprise zone, fly fishing, breast cancer support, and benefits for teachers. It's going to be good. While you're waiting for Season 3, honor someone who has positively impacted your life by recording your own toast at ketoasts.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please do tap the follow button, rate us using the star button, and share this podcast with someone to keep it going. And then go toast up some bread, because every positive action is worth toasting.
Dang, we were on a roll there. Here at Everett and Charlie, we do last Thursday. And then, of course, Settergren's Hardware. And I just love I'm back to the word charm, and that it is such a community. People here really support each other on many levels. The businesses, the neighbors, friends, you recognize people every day. And It's just good. So sometimes I joke that it's a cross between Mayberry and Sesame Street, and I say that in a loving way.
That's fantastic.
It's just great. You have to surround yourself with joy, whether it's a beautiful painting or your favorite pottery mug. Children's art is so beautiful. It's just so clean and raw and innocent. And I just would encourage any young person to not stop. Come in anytime. We're a hugging kind of gallery for sure. It's kind of a all are welcome kind of thing. Tell everybody to buy art.